What's going on, everyone? We're back again for another live episode of the J&J Talkshow. And listen, last time I came to you guys on air, it was about Wednesday night to talk about football. I've had people coming in and out of the of our workplace last couple of days, so it's been up and down. But I didn't get a chance to come back on Friday to talk about weekend sports and whatnot. But we're back live. It
Yes,
feels like it's
sir.
been forever.
For sure.
We've had a very eventful week,
Yes,
nonetheless.
busy week, but eventful.
I have to say though, if you haven't gotten a chance, we went to go see Venom on Friday night.
Mhm.
That was a really good movie. If you haven't gotten a chance to go see Venom this weekend,
Yeah, the first 3 days it already made 90 million.
yeah, that's almost record breaking. If that's not surpassing, you know what else is record breaking? We talk about the talk show here. Tom Brady back in the first quarter of the Buccaneers and Patriots game that's going right now on was on ABC, right? Or NBC, sorry.
Mhm.
Tom Brady surpasses Drew Brees passing yards and the most passing yards against his home team. And his family's at the game. They're in some luxury press box. It's pouring down rain. Patriots are currently up right now over the Buccaneers 7-3 as we're about halfway through the second quarter. So I say, you know what? We've been so prone to seeing the end of the games that we're actually seeing the middle of the game. So we'll keep you posted throughout the game, or throughout the baseball game or football game here on
The score and everything.
scores and everything going on. It's a little heartbreaking here because baseball's over with. We're officially in October. We're officially heading into postseason baseball that starts Wednesday. A lot of actions left to be squared away. It went down to today. This is how big it was. It went down to scenarios today. Well, what if the Blue Jay? What happened if the Yankees and Red Sox lost? Right, with the Blue Jays winning. I mean, they beat 11-1 in their final game. I mean, there was a tremendous amount of games that went down right down to the wire. The Dodgers and the Giants went down to the wire. With the Giants beating the Padres 11-4 today.
How's that feel?
There's a lot of things going on in San Diego right now. I know there's conversations about a new head manager taking effect, getting rid of Jace Tingler. And so there's a lot of things that we're still looking towards in Padres. I think they're still on the right track. Obviously, after the halftime or after the season went through, injuries caught up to them.
For sure.
Players got frustrated. We saw earlier this month or back in September with Manny Machado and Tatis going at it with each other.
That was funny.
It does get frustrating. When you guys are playing good baseball, at least what you believe is good baseball, and it gets taken away from you because you're not seeing the wins. I mean, they were at 70 wins to begin September, and they only finished off 78. They were 7 games above 500, and they ended up being 5 games below 500. They couldn't even get to 500. So really frustrating. I mean, though, but the Reds, right? They at least finished off strong. I mean, I know 83. I think they predicted 86 wins. They had 83. So close enough to the predictions, right? But 80 wins is not enough to get you in the postseason. We saw that. I mean, Cardinals had a stupidly crazy run in September. Respectfully deserving to be in the postseason in the second wildcard game. Trust me, the Cardinals and the Dodgers are going to be a great matchup. The Dodgers and Giants had a crazy season. I mean, okay, we know maybe the Dodgers were going to have a great season. They always do. They have the last decade. But to see the Giants make a great run like they did, a lot of people thought that maybe they were going to hold on to the run up until maybe August and then die down. No, they kept it the entire season. So,
that's good.
But a lot of things going on in baseball. Finishing up this year, a lot of changes. I mean, I think there's rumors about Nick Castellanos not going to be here in Cincinnati next year. There's possibilities of that. I don't know. I know there was a lot of depressing performances out of the Reds organization. Suarez.
Mhm.
I mean, I think he only batted 195 this season. Considering the last 30 games, he hit over 300.
Hmm.
So a lot of inconsistency work.
That's Cincinnati.
But yet again, though, they gave us a run for the money because the Reds were talking postseason back in, throughout the entire year, right? It came up to this week.
Mhm.
The Padres, the second to last week. So I think that they still have a lot of work to be done. I mean, back last year there were 60 games, so there was a lot of, okay, let's hit the gas pedal and we'll go in 60 games, 162 games, a whole another 100 games on top of that.
Mhm.
I mean, so I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'm okay with it. We have a lot of information though. Well, we got NCAA football, a couple upsets lost here as well.
For sure.
We'll kind of go over all of that. If you haven't tuned our channel before, we welcome you and thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button for more content. You could check us out on YouTube at the J&J Talkshow,
Mhm.
Facebook at the J&J Talkshow. Follow and keep up to date with our stuff that we're getting involved with.
Mhm.
Also, let's talk. We also want to invite you over to Spotify. If you haven't got a chance to go to Spotify, great audio way to listen to everything here at the J&J Talk Show. You can follow the page, get all your latest updates and information through there. We're in October,
Mhm.
which means it's
Fall.
the fall, Halloween time. Happy holidays, right? We can officially say happy holidays to everybody. And we can now, long sleeves comes out, colder weather. I mean, it was raining today. It's supposed to be like that all week, and where we're at here. We got also, postseason baseball, the feel of it.
Mhm.
The Play Against 60 starting to bring up the Boys and Girls Club, which is big promotion around this time of year.
For sure.
Also, Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
I think this is
It's October, right?
I thought it was like Hispanic.
Hispanic Heritage Month was September.
I thought it was this.
Yeah, they've been celebrating throughout
Come on,
September.
lie to me.
We're just so freshly in October, new month. But I believe it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So, people, I like to follow Susan G. Coleman, which was a big sponsor of WWE.
Sure.
Connor's Cure,
Mhm.
dealing with other
Was it like leukemia?
leukemia and all that stuff. St. Jude. So this is the time. This is the time of year where let's
Fundraisers.
start giving back. We've been through a long year. It hasn't been any easier with COVID. The ups and downs with it. And let's not forget about the people who are not able to enjoy what we are able to enjoy today. So you will see through our Facebook page a little bit more offerings. If there's fundraisers, we'll post that out there. And we will be talking about more of that on our show. So just keep aware of that. Right down to business, we do also like to take this time and promote other content. This is a channel.
And stuff like that.
Not just streaming. We'll get to that here later on in our program, but I want to, we want to give quickly a shout out to a colleague of mine. I think we mentioned last segment, and he's over on Twitch. He's more of a gamer.
Okay.
War Thunder, Minecraft, Call of Duty, stuff like that. But you know what? Go and support. The links down below, right here at the bottom of the screen. It is Swift. SWIFT _ashes ASHES. Go check out his channel on Twitch and Discord. Follow along, check out his videos. He posts up every Monday, Wednesday, Fridays in the evening time. And it's just, listen, we couldn't do it without Trey, who you guys will actually get the fortune enough to see later on tonight. But it's a small community. Well, it's a big community. But we want to be able to do it without supporting. So, Trey's supporting us. Let's go support someone else and help, try to do what we can to help their channel. I know I support them on Twitch, so get a chance to go out there. Is Swift_Ashes on Twitch. To check out his content. We're right down into it. Talking about
football.
We're trying to college football, and at this time, we're going to bring in Trey.
Okay.
So he's on the other line. Trey, are you there?
Hi everyone. Yep, I'm here.
Now, Trey, really fast. I know, right now we're doing this show here, and if you could kind of see us here. But anyways, you'll go in and out, and Trey, we'll get you back on here in a second. But you check out the YouTube. Have someone, if you can't, check out YouTube, see if there's an old overlay, because I can't have any headphones on this.
I wasn't able to get to it either.
So as you talk, you may have
There's no even popping on. Oh, there it is.
there you go. All right, Trey, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Okay, I just want to make sure that there's no overlay in your audio, because we're hearing you through speaker.
Yeah.
So, Trey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys today?
Is there a 5-second delay? Is there an echo? I guess that's what I'm trying to check out from him.
Mm-mm.
There's no echo from him. Okay. You know what? It's been a world of sports, a busy weekend, Trey. Listen, we want to just personally right now take this time and thank you for being here and not only supporting our channel like you do each and every day, out there on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. But we appreciate you putting your time into making videos and promoting our content.
It's no problem. I enjoy doing it. And before you all start getting into the sports and all that, I would like to tell you that I'm getting ready to do my bowling regionals in I think about 2 weeks. I'll let J&J Talkshow and tell you all how I did, and maybe y'all could put on your show that weekend.
Oh, we will. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, I've been following along with it. It looks like you've been shooting over 100 every time, which is fantastic. I mean, if you guys get a chance, local communities, one thing that gets underestimated all the time are those, they call them Special Olympics. Local communities host those Special Olympics. And we have a great community down here where we're at, and they acknowledge all sorts of type of Special Olympics, from bowling, baseball, football, lacrosse, anything that you can, soccer. I mean, there's swimming. There's so many different activities. So maybe check out your local areas and check out the local community's Special Olympic programs.
Yeah, and it's all events are free, no cost to you. Yeah. All you have to do is show up and support us.
So we'll get more information out there for him. So Trey, listen, I understand that you don't necessarily. I know you talk about football, baseball. I mean, you could talk about anything. Well, we're going to jump right into things. We got football going on here, baseball, NFL, and then WWE, which is our main topic here this evening. So we're kind of pleading into things for NCAA football. We have week 5, right, officially away. And I like to. This is to start the time where you have over 100+ games in football. Okay, in NCAA every Saturday, over 100+ games, and you kind of want to start narrowing it down to maybe the top 25 rankings, right? You start getting yourself an idea when you talk nationwide. I know everybody has local individual teams, but nationwide you have some big. You talk about like Alabama, Georgia, Clemson, Ohio State, Oregon, things teams are going to be in the top 25. So that's really what we look at around this time. And that's what we're interested in as the year progresses. A couple of notable games here to really bring up: Cincinnati defeating Notre Dame back on Saturday. The number 7 ranked Cincinnati beating number 9 Notre Dame 24-13. Now I don't know about you, Justin, but that is a huge win for Cincinnati. They've over the last couple of years they've been climbing up the ladder. And to beat a team like Notre Dame, I know Notre Dame's ranked 9, but to beat a team like Notre Dame gives you so much power going in the long run.
Especially Notre Dame being so physical.
So
well known to be physical.
Oh yes, Trey.
Yeah.
Cincinnati beats Notre Dame. What's going on there?
It's a huge win. Not just for us. I mean, I guess it's good. I don't really know nothing about college football, but give it up to Cincinnati.
You know, I'm not huge about college football. It's hard to sometimes get into. But at the same time, for me, though, this is why I condense my search. You know, I have a local team that I follow and I support. That's San Diego State Aztecs. Born and raised in San Diego. That's why I support them. But I sit here and also like to look at the overall, like the top 25 teams that are ranked each and every week to follow those type of games. And these are 2 teams that are ranked and such a hard ranking to get into. Cincinnati's ranked in the top 10.
Let's just see how long it lasts.
And then also earlier on Saturday, Stanford, that's not ranked, by the way, beats number 3, Oregon. Now, Oregon's made some huge highlights. And why this game is so disappointing is because they just got done beating Ohio State earlier, like game 2 of this season. And I watched that game, really physical battle. And I got to give kudos to Stanford to beat. I mean, they've overcame some big teams already this year. Florida also, number 10 Florida also lost to Kentucky, which was a big upset also. And I know Florida's not your 1 or 2 like they were a decade ago. But Florida is still, when you think of Florida, the Gators, you think of a big and powerful team in the NCAA overview. So, and also let's talk about, you know, while we mention this up here, you know, we talked about off the air with you guys, but first time since 2014, Clemson's not in the top 25. Considering a semifinal team, Trey, from last year, okay? A semifinal team last year who lost to that. Remember, Trevor Lawrence was on this team. They lost to Ohio State, and they're not ranked at all.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
And then to see teams like Iowa, Penn State, you know, all ranked as well. So we're only in week 5. We got another 5 more weeks to go, or 2 months to go, right? 5-7 games left, and we're already seeing a lot of excitement going on in NCAA football. So if you're an NCAA fan, check us out later on in the week. We'll kind of cover some other matches, some other games. Also notable games here: Michigan beats Wisconsin. Ole Miss loses to Alabama. And then Georgia also beats Arkansas as well. So a couple games going on over there in NCAA. Still very impressed to see, shocking for me to see Clemson out of it. But you know what? I'm not shocked about. I'm actually enjoying this while I can, because as of this weekend, with San Diego State replaces Clemson, and they're ranked number 25. I don't know how long it's been since since San Diego State's been ranked, if they've ever been ranked. But I mean, out of football terms, right? I think I've seen them be ranked in basketball, but
for sure,
overall, you have San Diego State, my San Diego State that I root for each and every week, is in the top 25. So I think we're all happy overall because it's local teams that we support around the city. And let's go over to Major League Baseball here while we talk about that. Season's done with. And now that means we come to Tuesday game. But before we go, we'll actually go backwards here. I got the AL ready to go up right now. And that's because just how I entered it in, getting ready for the game. I had to still finish watching the Boston Red Sox beat the Washington Nationals. So in the National League, just a quick reference here. The final standings in the National League for Major League Baseball ends off In the East, Atlanta Braves walks away with the division. Philadelphia Phillies come close but no cigar. Let me put that term. New York Mets, Miami Marlins, and Washington Nationals. Over there in the Central, Milwaukee Brewers clinched the division, followed by the second wildcard team this year, the St. Louis Cardinals, which we mentioned had a huge run in September, 17 games, right? I believe something like that, to really get, they were what? Beginning of September, they were 4 games out.
Mm-hmm.
Now they had a huge lead, and they clinched it early on this year. Cincinnati, Chicago, Pittsburgh, in that order. Over in the rest, crazy Giants team. The first wild card spot in the Dodgers, Padres, who made an effort, but they didn't. They fell short. And then the Rockies and Arizona. That means come this Wednesday on TBS, the Cardinals will be over in LA to face those Dodgers in the wild card game. 1 game elimination. Don't want to miss that out. Over there on TBS. Check that out this week. Okay. I mean, I think that Wednesdays there's no football. Besides maybe AEW Dynamite. But let's not miss baseball. Baseball's winding down. Only 4 or 5 more weeks left of the postseason. Over there in the American League, really fast, we have the AL standings East. The Tampa Bay Rays clinched the division. They also have the best record in the AL. Boston Red Sox come in second with the win, clinching the first wild card. Yankees get the second wild card. Toronto, Baltimore in that order. Central, Chicago White Sox clinch their division. And we've seen them grow as time prevailed. They came close last year, making to the postseason, and then they do it once again. Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City, Minnesota. Coming out of the West, the Astros clinch once more, followed by Seattle, Oakland, Anaheim, Los Angeles Angels, and the Texas Rangers, which means coming down this Tuesday on ESPN. Don't miss it. The Yankees, the favorite rivalry, I believe, arguably to be in sports history, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Trey, I know you're not a huge baseball fan. Are you rooting? Okay, so let's take a look at this really fast, Trey. In the American League, you got Tampa Bay, you got Boston, New York, you got Chicago, and then you got Houston. Can you pick a team that you would want to win the American League?
Chicago.
I got to agree with that. I like it. Justin?
I agree with it, but I would choose my Astros.
You choose Astros. So, Trey, you got Chicago. I'm holding you to that.
Chicago.
Okay? Astros, you got to remember, Astros, Chicago, they face each other on begin Thursday. Okay? And honestly, for me, I'm actually going to go. I've been mentioning this on the show, how hard the Yankees have been playing this year, everything that they've had to go through. I got to root for the Yankees. So we got Chicago, Astros, Yankees. Trey, now over there here on the National League side, okay, you got the Giants, Dodgers, Cardinals, Brewers, Milwaukee, right? And then the Braves. Can you pick anyone on the National League side you want to root for?
I'm going to pick St. Louis.
St. Louis, the underdog team. Justin?
I would do the Dodgers.
Dodgers. So we're gonna figure out who's in and who's out on the National League side coming up on Wednesday. We talk. I think we mentioned about this. What the Giants made a great run. Mm-hmm. It's been almost a decade since they been back to the postseason. Mm-hmm. They also what you also got to consider. Buster Posey's retiring at the end of this year, from my understanding. Also on the St. Louis side, Yadier Molina has announced his retirement, I believe. And if I'm not correct, Adam Wainwright is supposed to be retiring here very shortly. So I would like to. So and I have to agree with Trey. The Cardinals are my underdog team because they're going to have to overcome the Dodgers. They're going to have to if they could overcome the Dodgers, they got to overcome the Giants. And if they could overcome that, they would have to overcome the winner between Atlanta and Milwaukee. And just imagine if St. Louis faces Milwaukee in the NLCS.
The cards are already stacked against them, but never.
So there's no break in between.
Yeah.
So I'm going for the Cardinals as well. We'll figure that out coming up here later on this week. Okay. Moving forward. Okay. Football. Okay, some big
NFL.
games. NFL, we got near almost halftime, right? Under a minute left to be played here in New England. 7-3 right now, as it looks like they're going to head to half.
Tampa Bay trying to score.
You got to remember, you have two offensive guys from Tampa Bay out. One of them's Gronkowski. Official, 4 broken ribs or 4 fractured ribs and 1 broken ribs. So I don't know exactly how. And then a puncture lung, right? Probably from that broken rib. So I don't know how. I mean, like I said, Tom Brady's already surpassed Drew Brees'. So I mean, there's some sentimental value here in New England right now because Tom Brady has now has surpassed Drew Brees in the all-time passing yards and holds that alone. And it's pouring down rain. It's in where he's played all against the team he's played for the entire time. But let's pay attention to some noticeable games coming up here that happened today in the NFL. I can't help but stress now, the Giants beating the Saints.
Both New York teams actually winning.
Both New York teams actually winning today. With the Jets beating the Tennessee Titans earlier today. You mentioned, Washington was something to watch out for. Cowboys beating the Panthers, like you mentioned as well earlier. And then what about, the Cardinals beating the Rams to sit the only undefeated team in the NFC West? Trey, out of all the games today, okay, I know you watched the Bengals game earlier on.
Yes.
Out of all, earlier this week, but out of all the games, is there any game today that you were surprised? Did you watch any football today? Let me put it that way.
I'm going to tell you something that I'm not surprised of is Pittsburgh losing.
Pittsburgh did lose against Green Bay. I mean, we knew the struggle that it was going to be going into Lambeau Field. That was not a surprise.
When they will retire Big Ben and
Big Ben wants to ride it out as long as possible, and I think it's respectfully do so. My other issue when it comes down to Pittsburgh is that you have to have a quarterback replacement if you're going to get rid of Big Ben. Do they have a secondary quarterback that could hold Pittsburgh football? We talked about this. New York has a standard. If you lose only so long before they say they're going to start calling for heads. Pittsburgh is one of those franchises, it's a city that they will start calling for your head if you don't play good football. Pennsylvania alone, between the Phillies, Eagles, Pirates, and, Steelers, if you don't play good football, then you're not. We're going to, exactly. They're going to start getting the pitchforks and start protesting and, making you do stuff. So, anyways, so Pittsburgh did lose again. I mean, and it doesn't help their case because they're 1-3 now, right?
The Ravens won too. They beat the undefeated Broncos.
And they beat the Broncos. I mean, that was kind of given, maybe. Because I felt like the Baltimore Ravens, they faced some tough games early on, and they just needed to get on the right track again.
For sure.
I don't know. I don't see Denver being where they are.
And especially for this year, I think it's going to be between the Browns, the Bengals, and the Ravens again.
Yeah.
Wins their division.
I mean, and that's exciting. I mean, the Chiefs beat the Eagles earlier today also. Got them back out on the winning streak. Hopefully that can move to something positive. Trey, Raiders, Chargers tomorrow night. Are you going to watch that game? Does that game surpass the Monday Night Raw draft?
Well, tomorrow night I will actually be at bowling, so I will not be able to watch it.
Get home. Inside like 11 o'clock.
I'm a big fan of WWE. I ain't missing that.
Not especially with how this draft is playing out. Definitely not. No, I agree with you.
Who was it?
It's the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers taking on against each other tomorrow night. The undefeated Raiders.
That's who I'm picking to win is the Raiders.
Well, and I hate to say this too, but the Raiders going into LA, they have more to fight for. They've been fighting every single game of the week so far. And then also I've seen how the Chargers played 2 weeks ago when Dallas came into town. Mm-hmm. Wasn't impressive at all. No. So I could see I could definitely see the Raiders coming out on top of this one. And yes, because you forgot about it, I did pick you. You wanted to choose the Chargers later on. Well. So, all right. So, what we cover a lot of things. Before we get into our main topic here tonight, okay, which is the whole reason on, we want to go ahead and thank some lucky not sponsors, but supporters. StreamYard, this is the studio that we're in live in. We like to thank StreamYard for allowing us a simple way of creating content. Everything you see on the screen, everything that you hear audio-wise, allowing us to play videos and stuff like that. Thank you to StreamYard. If you guys are looking to start your own podcast, video recording, whatever the case may be, StreamYard.com, place to go. Hey, it's Lucky. So, hey, Trey, you're on StreamYard. Say hi.
Hi, StreamYard.
And we're able to have multiple guests on. I send you, and so, hopefully this leads to guests later on in our programs, maybe interviews, whatnot. I could get other, family members on if we want to talk about certain subjects. So StreamYard is the place to go. Place it has our logo up there on the top left, right corner, however you want to look at it. And it has also the entrance, that logo you saw at the entrance intro video. Thanks to Place It. They done it for YouTube, also through YouTube, Facebook, Spotify as well. And then last but not least, something you'll hear later on in our program that you haven't heard of today, Epidemic Sound, which license all of our music that we play in the background. So you'll hear
really good music, for sure.
It's really good music. Go check it out. You licenses it. So you get license on it so you could play it on your channels, stuff like that. So we like to thank them for allowing us to get this type of access for our content here. We'll talk about Epidemic Sound. Okay. And this is how just simply it is. And we just put it up here for a second. I just don't need it that much. It'll take a second to load. And there you go. We got Epidemic Sound. So I don't know if you guys can hear it. Maybe not. Oh, let us know if you guys can or can't hear it. Here,
I can hear it.
So, I can't.
I can hear it. Yep.
All right. Well, there you go. See that's how easy that pops up, just like that. So, is it loud enough? Is it soft enough? Let me put it that way, since you're hearing it out.
Yep.
Yeah. So you can still hear us over the music.
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Good to know. Well, with that being said, the music's playing, which means the WWE Draft. Yeah? Is it good? Oh man. I'm excited. You know what? We went to Raw. Trey, me, Justin. First time, Justin. I gotta ask you, we advertise this. Come on. Give us your feedback. Your first ever live WWE event.
It was really fun.
Really fun. We sat right next to the Raw logo straight in the back. Mm-hmm. I was not expecting that.
Me neither.
Pyro was great.
At least there was one giant camera in our way.
There was no cameras in our way. We saw everything clearly. Mm-hmm. And you know what? There was some great content, Trey. Was there or was there not great content? I mean, we saw more
It's very good content.
It was hours of Raw than we saw at Extreme Rules.
Just so you know, ever since you started playing this music, you've been lagging. There's been a
Oh,
delay.
you know what? Then to refresh your page. It's fine. We can handle it. It's fine. It's not a big deal. As long as there's not a 10-second delay.
No.
So Trey, coming out of Raw, we went to it. You had a great time too.
Yes, I did. I was definitely not expecting the steel cage match.
I was not either. They hid that pretty well. What was your favorite match out of
My favorite match was probably the steel cage match with Big E and Bobby Lashley.
You know, I do. Justin, what was your favorite match?
Definitely with the Sheamus versus Damian Priest.
Yeah, very entertaining. I mean, you know, that was one thing that we complexed about earlier on this week. Why have yourself? You had yourself what, a no disqualification match, and how come that couldn't have been the night before? That was a pay-per-view match. I mean, I would have just been satisfied enough just to have a steel cage. But how come, you know, and I get it. Maybe you tried to save something for the Monday night after, you know, Extreme Rules. But this was a triple threat match that probably didn't need to be at Extreme Rules between Jeff Hardy, Sheamus, and Damian Priest. And then they go right back down to Sheamus getting his rematch against Damian Priest in a no DQ. They brought out tables, chairs. Kendo sticks. I mean, they had everything underneath the sink thrown at them, and it was a top star. Like for me, it was between that match and it was between the steel cage match.
Especially the way it ended too.
Especially the way that steel cage match ended. Especially the way that Bobby Lashley was a sore loser and had to attack Big E, couldn't face him one-on-one, and had to attack him prior to the match, right? You know, I love watching the return of the Hurt Business. I don't know where that leads them down the road. You know, I mean, so Trey, you say that the steel cage match is your number one match, but we have to disagree with you on here. I think we both agree. Damian Priest and Sheamus is your number one match.
That's my second.
I think just because you saw people get thrown through chairs.
Yeah.
But you know what? I couldn't be more happier because it's been over 2 years since I went to a last live event. I only go to either Raw, SmackDown, or pay-per-views. I don't go to the house shows because I want to see something live and want to see something worth it. You know what I'm saying? But this was your verse event. Will you go back again?
For sure.
For sure. Absolutely. And we got much more things coming up here later on the rest of the year and next year. You know, a couple of events that we're hoping to get to.
Hopefully COVID's not around.
Well, hopefully, if COVID's going to be around, other people could be smart around us, right? We're doing our due diligence and getting our vaccinations because society tells us to.
What the president demands to.
Regardless if we agree with it or not.
True.
We're doing our due diligence and being safe. We wear a mask when it's appropriate. We stay socially distanced around people that's appropriate, right? We use hand sanitizer, washing our hands, you know, the personal hygiene effect. And hopefully we can be able to maintain that. But anyways, listen, WWE Draft. So we had Raw, great match, a great event that we went to. Then we went into SmackDown. Well, let's back that up. We went into NXT. Right? You had the NXT Women's Championship on the line. How did that go? I did not watch NXT. I was too fixated.
That was a really physical match. It was really good. But the way it ended was really good. Mandy Rose actually and the Toxic Attraction actually attacked Raquel Gonzalez.
I would love to see the Toxic Attraction on Raw. Are they like the okay? Can you compare them? How would you compare them to the Right Squad?
I would say Toxic Attraction is a little bit kind of better.
A little bit better. Trey, So what does it take for us to get you to watch NXT? Because I mean, we already saw the draft. We saw what Austin Theory hit Rose on SmackDown. So what is it going to take to get you to watch NXT? Now, you don't have to watch it every week. I don't watch it every week. But they have some the developmental stage for WWE is through NXT. And they really slow down telling their stories, very well. Mm-hmm. And you've seen Finn Balor go back down. Samoa Joe, who got hurt, went back down. Mandy Rose went back down. Ember Moon went back down. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's athletes that don't want to come up because NXT is where it's at. If you're in part of the World Wrestling Entertainment business.
True.
Right? So there's some good stuff, coming out of NXT. So what will it take to give you an opportunity just to give it a try?
Maybe a reminder. A reminder that it's even on.
That's what it's on Tuesday nights, right?
Yep.
So you don't have anything besides postseason baseball. You don't got anything going on. It's away from Dynamite, right, which is on Wednesdays. So you don't have football. So we got to start texting them.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays.
Yeah. Normally I'm playing Call of Duty and
put it up on your tablet.
Multitask.
Well, listen, I don't follow NXT each and every week. I don't. Mm-hmm. But I follow NXT periodically, once in a while. Mm-hmm. And it's always good to stay in tune because that way when they do get brought up, you know who they are a little bit. They're established, especially these guys that aren't established yet into the WWE.
Especially the draft coming out.
Look, I didn't know who Austin Theory was, and I still don't even know who Hit Row was. That's because that's how involved I haven't been. But if it wasn't for NXT, I wouldn't know who T-Bar and Mace was.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know who Boog was because he was in NXT. Mm-hmm. So we got to get you watching NXT. So, all right, I'm gonna come right back to you, Trey.
Yeah.
Because the WWE Draft was on Friday. And nothing fantastic about the show happened. Let me put it that way. Like it always has. I think the only thing worth getting excited about was the fact that Seth Rollins breaks into Edge's house.
Yeah.
And
right.
Now, and I love this. I've been praying for something like this to happen quite often, Trey, because I want to see this rivalry take it to the next level.
Like you said,
right.
Triple H.
Right. What happened? Remember when Triple H? Triple H attacked Randy Orton at his house.
Mm-hmm. Remember that?
They've done this. Remember when John Cena threw the Money in the Bank contract in the ocean?
Mm-hmm.
I think outside Pennsylvania.
Yep.
There's so many great things that to tell the story beyond the ring. Mm-hmm. My only concern is does this WWE draft fuck that up? Because we saw, and we'll get into this, T-Bar and Maze get separated. The New Day once again gets separated. But I love this rivalry. We just talked about this on Monday prior to the show. If you're going to continue to watch Seth Rollins and Edge, you have to be able to put some sort of stipulation. Mm-hmm. Make it personal. Make it something where we want to see more. The prime example I can't stop giving you is the year-long rivalry story between The Undertaker and Randy Orton, where Taker beats him at WrestleMania, then Orton burns him in a casket just for him to come back at Survivor Series and then to have a fantastic TLC match.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest rival storylines because how long can you think you could take a year into telling that story? And they took their time with it, and I loved it. It was a main event on SmackDown away from the main event. So now you're doing this with Seth Rollins and Edge, and now I've been asking you guys to keep on taking it to the next level. They're taking it to the next level. But this WWE draft is here, and let me first say, Trey.
Yeah.
It's like a repeat of 2016 with the brand split. Now I don't know what happened, but from my last recollection, both brands were still split.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what in the world are they doing?
I don't know. I think they dropped the ball with this, especially when now the rule is all the draftees don't go on their brand for 3 weeks. It doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, that just adds on to the problem, though. The first problem is the fact that you guys think, or WWE thinks, that they can make a brand split and do a draft like they were back splitting the brands back to its original, like they were one unity at one point.
Exactly.
And it's not working that way. Like the first round, the first pick of this, you know, I would have been perfectly fine if you saw. You know, remember back in the day, I think we talked about this. Remember back in the day where you had a Raw versus SmackDown. Whoever won the match gets the pick for the brand. Right? Right?
Yes.
That was back in the good old days.
That was the good old days. I don't know why they can't do that.
And now you have it where, like I said, back in 2016, because they had both Raw and SmackDown combined, they split the brand, and then Vince or Stephanie and Shane did a 2-night split, and that was fine by me.
Which was really good, by the way. But
I thought it was great, by the way. But for me, it was more. For me, it was more about I wish they would have went back down to 2018 or 2008. Trey.
Yeah.
You yelled at over here by riders.
Sorry, I was focused on Tom Brady throwing that good pass.
Football, they just got back from the half. It's 7-3 New England over Tampa Bay. What Buccaneers had the ball. But, okay, so listen. I wanted them to go back to 2008. They didn't. They took this approach. And with that being said, Trey, I guess what am I going to ask? Because I'm not. I mean, are you even satisfied?
I'm not satisfied at all. I'm gonna say I'm mad because they this past Monday, they had a tag team match, like they not even a tag team match, like they were really together, and then a couple days later split up. It doesn't make sense.
But I mean, I warned you guys about this on previous shows that ever since Big E came to Raw, ever since he won the WWE Championship, I said that this was going to be an issue, that everyone's thinking that they're back together. And I've already explained to you guys that even the commentators are selling the point that, they're going to be split up. Where are they going to go? Well, no, that's never was the case.
Nope.
In this factor. I mean, I don't know. There is so much things. I don't even know where to begin with this brand split. Let's just start off with Raw. What did Raw get over this past Friday Night SmackDown? They picked up Big E, Bianca Belair, RK Bro, Edge, Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH, Keith Lee, Rey and Dominic Mysterio, and Austin Theory. Yet again, I'm not pleased by any of it. Drew, there's possible, I don't even, whew, I'm having so much trouble. Justin, give me something to work with here.
Well, it's SmackDown, so you really don't know what to choose. Or
Well, okay. The thing is, you want to select Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH, and that's fine. But with them holding the women's tag team titles, they're gonna jump brands anyways.
Right.
that can go either
Keith
way.
Lee, I love to see. I think I would love to see a great rivalry between Keith Lee and Big E.
That too. We did have like a decent rivalry with Drew McIntyre at one time.
What about? Let me ask you this. So Trey, Dominic and Rey Mysterio, if you've been following SmackDown, has been up and down over the last few months, and it's been this storyline of Dominic being told or being baby stepped in on how to run the program, right?
Right.
This is how it works. This is how you're gonna make it through as a single competitor. Now, just reports coming in earlier this weekend that Rey is actually still injured, so he's going to be in and out of action for a while. Is this now the time, moving back to Raw, to kind of start climbing up that ladder again? Because
Yes.
he's been held back so many times on SmackDown.
I think it's his time to shine, and since Ray's not around because of his injury, I think it's time for him to step up.
Rey's going to be around, but he's not going to be
A competitor.
a competitor, in-ring competitor. I still think he's still going to be around. He's still going to do all that stuff with them, but he's not going to be in-ring competitor. Just want to give a quick hi out to Courtney and Kay, who's joined our stream comments. Kay just mentioned that Sting mask that you have behind you is going to freak a lot of people out.
I might.
This is where you go.
So let's not forget Austin Theory, right? Used to be with Angel Garza and Andrade back when they were teaming up. I think 19 before I want to say Angel Garza got hurt.
Yep.
One of them got hurt. Austin Theory went back down to NXT at the time, and then redeveloped himself. I'm kind of iffy because I only remember Austin Theory for the heel that he has. Now they're trying to bring him back up. I like Angel Garza now for some reason because I just love Humberto Carrillo
Yeah, and
and
Garza
the
together.
tag team. And I think that's only to make more tag teams in effect. RK Bro's fine on Raw. The Bianca Belair, that's fine. That's why you don't have got the title on her. I don't. So with that being said, because you have, and there's just possibilities right now going on because you still have tomorrow night on Raw to figure out the draft. But is this a chance for Becky? Unless Becky Lynch or Sasha Banks gets drafted to Raw, is this an opportunity for Bianca to get the title? Right, Trey?
We'll probably still see Bianca Belair versus the man that's Crown Jewel.
But right now, it's a triple threat match. According to a Bleacher Report, it's Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks in a triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. So either Charlotte loses the title to someone on Raw, Shayna Baszler maybe, or Becky Lynch loses to Bianca Belair or gets drafted to Raw.
I don't know how they're going to do the championships now.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to get that title off Charlotte.
Shayna Baszler.
I was thinking maybe add Charlotte to the triple threat match, but that wouldn't make sense.
I'm tired of these triple threat matches. No, I mean, I really am, because the last 6 months they've been doing, it's either Raw or SmackDown has been doing these women's championship matches as triple threat matches
Yeah, like
when you don't need it. I mean, you just saw Charlotte and Nikki ASH was going to have a title match. Rhea Ripley gets involved, so that becomes a triple threat match. I mean, there's just no need to have 3 people, and you're already going to have one at Crown Jewel. So I don't know. I'm not buying on the triple threat match anymore.
Not when it comes to like the women, because I don't think we all just seen the same thing. Because we did see triple threat match with the man Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and
Well, so that was what 2 years ago, and ever since WrestleMania, there's been either on Raw or SmackDown, the Women's Championship has been triple threat matches.
Yeah.
And I don't see why it needs to be that way. I think this triple threat match right now between Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks is fine. I understand why. But then my next question is okay, Shayna Baszler and Charlotte Flair. I think that's a great storyline setting up. You know, Shayna Baszler is setting herself apart from Nia Jax, going back to her NXT days where she was dominant. And then she could capture the Raw Women's Championship, keeping the SmackDown title with Becky and keeping Charlotte and Becky on SmackDown.
which potentially will start the rivalry between Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch.
Yeah, the rivalry that we've always wanted to see, that we haven't really clearly seen before. Like one-on-one.
Yeah. What hasn't been interrupted?
My question is how are they going to get Shayna Baszler in that title picture?
She just got done breaking Nia Jax's elbow, causing her to be out of action of surgery. She just got done breaking Eva Marie's elbow. Over the next 2 weeks, you can continue to break elbows, and that's going to paint her the image that she was back on NXT, right, where she was just a badass. Okay? And then she could come out and say, hey, Charlotte, I'm going to take the title from you whether you like it or not.
I mean, she's got 3 weeks to do so.
Well, you know, you could do this in 2 weeks.
Because come 3 weeks, Charlotte's on SmackDown.
So come in 3 weeks, Charlotte's on SmackDown. But come in 3 weeks, I mean, we still have to wait for tomorrow, but, I mean, you have to, that's the only way I figure. Because Charlotte is the only person right now that doesn't need the title on her.
No.
And you need to get that Raw title back to Raw at some point.
Somehow.
You can't have a SmackDown Women's Championship champion on Raw.
I mean, you can do it how they did it the last draft.
In the picture, a SmackDown Women's Champion. Just like the tag team titles, right? That's why Arcade Bros over there.
Unless they switch titles like they did before in the last draft.
They didn't.
I mean,
that makes no sense, though.
It'd be goofy, but I mean, they could do like Justin just said, swapping titles.
I guess so, but right. I mean, all we could say for sure, unless Becky Lynch gets put over to Raw, you don't see two women's titles on one brand. Unless what ends up happening is that if that does happen, which it's very likely to happen, but then you would see Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch at Survivor Series, and the winner of that will be the Ultimate SmackDown Women's Champion, and then they would have to crown a new Raw Women's title on Raw, so like some sort of tournament, right?
True.
I mean, they could make her forfeit it.
No,
surrender it.
Wouldn't make her forfeit. She would never forfeit that title. That's Charlotte Flair. She would not forfeit that title unless she's handed a new title. It's Charlotte Flair. You know, talking about this though, and this is just only on the Raw side. You know, we just mentioned how Seth Rollins and Edge is heating up, right? And I know we still have a lot more drafts to come ahead tomorrow night, but Edge is on Raw. Seth Rollins maybe Here's my. I would love to see this extended out even further. Maybe the conclusion wraps up on Crown Jewel, or maybe even Survivor Series. I could see that happening. But Edge and Seth Rollins, I could see Seth Rollins staying on SmackDown, and then they just go away with the rivalry. But this, if that does happen, this is an opportunity right now because Roman Reigns is out of the picture. Drew McIntyre is out of the picture. I don't know about Bobby Lashley. And this is surprising me. What, the first 4 rounds? Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks is not in the conversation. There's a lot of people not, the Street Profits are not in the conversation yet of the draft already. There's still a lot of great wrestlers to be put out there that hasn't been drafted yet. But I'm going to be disappointed to see how this rivalry between Edge and Seth Rollins happens.
I hope Edge wins. That's all I can say.
Right. Well, I think he's going to win. You make it that personal. I mean, he's going to win, but just in what type of fashion?
Well, he won last time, but just slamming Seth Rollins' head to the mat several times and making him tap out.
Yeah.
What's next?
STFU.
Yeah.
Okay. What about an I Quit match?
That too.
That'll be good. Anyways, we're spitballing there. Roman Reigns, Charlotte Flair, Drew McIntyre, The New Day, Happy Corbin and Moss, the Hit Row coming up from NXT, Naomi and Jeff Hardy going to SmackDown. Okay, maybe so. Drew McIntyre is going back home to SmackDown. You got to remember, Drew McIntyre, when he first came into the WWE, brought up from NXT, he was a SmackDown person. That's where he had all his success at. When he went over to Raw, he was not a successful athlete. So he's going back to SmackDown where he was successful at. And from there, I could see a lot of possible matches, great matches coming forth. No? Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre right there alone.
I'm hoping they draft AJ to SmackDown. That way they split up Omos and AJ and have Omos go on a singles run. That'd be pretty neat.
Omos will need the help from guys like Keith Lee. I mean, Keith and Omos. But see, if you're going to separate Omos, and that's fine by me, I would want them to fight each other. You need AJ and Omos to fight each other. It only makes sense. But if you're going to separate them, you need to have Omos on a brand that athletes can help him out. Right? I feel like, maybe I'm underestimating this guy, but it feels like he still needs a lot of in-ring work.
Just like Big Great Khali.
Yeah, he's as stiff as the Great Khali. Even Aziz has more in-ring capability than Omos right now, at least through my eyes. Maybe I'm wrong.
No.
Both are wrong.
I agree with y'all. I agree with y'all with Omos. I think he needs a lot of training.
But see, now you need athletes that can carry him and help him, right? Make him look good. Right? AJ is helping them in tag team action because he takes all the work. If you're gonna put him on Raw, I don't know if Edge could, because if you toss Edge the wrong way, he's done. I mean, Randy's doing so well with Matt Riddle. I don't know. I mean, that kind of feud's kind of lagging off. So what? Can Big E work with them? Can Keith Lee work with them? I mean, that is unanswered points. I think maybe Big E okay, but I don't see Keith Lee working with them unless being able to carry him through a match.
I think he would benefit by going to SmackDown and have AJ
and working with guys like
Raw.
Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre and
Exactly.
Jeff Hardy. Yeah. Because now it's time to slow down and teach this other guy how to be an athlete.
Right.
Gosh, there's a lot more picks left. We haven't even gotten through Monday Night Raw. I mean, there's a lot of guys like we mentioned: Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and Cedric Alexander. The Street Profits, right?
We still have
The
Cesaro.
Usos,
We still have
Cesaro.
He's still injured, but he's still there because Nia Jax got drafted.
What about Apollo Crews, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, Sheamus? They're all eligible for the draft, but this is why you shouldn't have the draft like it is, right? Because now you have to find a home for all of these. So now you're going to have to have an excessive draft coming up tomorrow night. You should have just had Raw versus SmackDown weekend, and whoever wins gets draft picks and then come over from there, right? That's how I feel like it should have worked out. No? Trey?
Yeah. Did you see that they drafted Otis and Chad Gable to Raw?
To Raw? Was that just happened just within a couple hours?
Happened October 2nd. They drafted Nia Jax, John Morrison, Reggie, R-Truth, Drake Maverick, T-Bar, Tozawa, Otis, Chad Gable, Apollo Crews,
Zelina Vega
Dewdrop
to Raw. So those are all going to Raw.
Mm-hmm.
So basically half of that. Just look at that for a second. Akira Tozawa, Dewdrop, Drake Maverick, John Morrison, Nia Jax, who's now out for a while, Reggie, R-Truth, T-Bar, right? 8 people. 8 of those, 10? 10, 12? They've already on Raw.
Then there's SmackDown people that got drafted. Raw people that got drafted to SmackDown. Yep. Mace.
Okay, Mace. So
let's
Tony Storm's coming up. Ooh, I'm excited to see her.
So they split up T-Bar and Mace.
So let me ask you this: does T-Bar and Mace? How do you think their singles career going to go now?
I think they're gonna get forgotten about myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just like NXT.
I mean, T-Bar is threatening management that there will be violence on SmackDown.
That was something. Yeah, I don't know if that's a storyline written or he threatened the higher ups that there will be violence for the actions taken against it. Now, let's be honest here. And I think Justin said this right. I think you even said this too. T-Bar and Maze, they kind of remind me of the Ascensions, Victor and Connor, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't believe in them separating. They were a great team. They should have been a team going over to Raw and SmackDown, wherever they should have been, but they should have never been separated. I don't see individual careers out of them. Mm-hmm. They don't have the look for individual careers.
Right.
But that's just, I'm excited. Like I said, there's still, here's the thing. Out of that list, those are the minor lists. Out of that list, you still have to worry about, like I said, all the names I still need to mention. Mm-hmm. Right? Anyways, listen, a lot still yet to be seen here on WWE. Monday Night Raw is tomorrow at 8 Eastern time, and that will be the conclusion of the 2021 draft. So check that out here. The last thing that we want to bring up to you here is the fact that Crown Jewel is coming up in 3 weeks. That is going to be held at in Saudi Arabia, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And I understand we're booking a lot of these matches. There's already, I think, the only confirmed match. There's 2 confirmed matches so far, right? That's Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship. Mm-hmm. That's the SmackDown Women's Championship triple threat match: Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, and Sasha Banks. I know there's conversations about Goldberg and Bobby Lashley, right? And that's fine. It just hasn't been confirmed yet. Big E and Drew McIntyre, which is fine also. Being in Saudi Arabia, does Mansur get a push again?
That might be a kickoff match.
Omos, right? Going over there, people get a chance to see him. Is there any match where Edge and Seth Rollins is a possibility? Trey, before we get off with you, is there anything that you want to see that's not already written down or a possibility coming out of Crown Jewel?
I think they need to involve Damian Priest somehow. And they really need to involve the Intercontinental Championship, because ever since Shinsuke's won that, he's only had one title defense. So somehow they need to involve the two titles.
Yeah, they need. I mean, Shinsuke's only been defending that title on SmackDown, which is nice to see.
But he might potentially go to Raw and maybe see more.
Right. Yeah, I'm on the same board. I don't know. I don't know what else. I mean, I don't know what type of show. All I know is that WWE had such a terrible time last time out there that you got to remember, athletes were left behind days after.
Yep.
Right? You had 100-degree temperatures, so half the athletes were in terrible condition. Okay, right? This was the night that Goldberg and Undertaker barely performed. And their excuse was it was 100 degrees outside. Which I get it. 50-year-old men at 100 plus degrees moving like they're 25, they don't mix. Mm-mm. Listen, Shrek will be arguing with me all day long.
Yeah, they need a lot of cold water.
A lot of Gold Bond, right?
They need a lot of Bengay.
So, I mean, we got a couple weeks coming up, but it's actually coming up. Don't forget, it's a weekday because time difference out there. So it's actually going to be held on Thursday, October 21st. And then, like I said, from there on out, like I said, they still got to get back home. Are they going to take SmackDown? Or they got to get back home to record SmackDown live. You know what I'm saying? So, who do you hold back just in case they don't get out of there?
Right.
But anyways, Trey, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you getting on the conversation. I know it's been a chaotic mess.
For sure.
But that's what we're all about, though. I mean, we can't have anything but chaos here going on here.
Just like Raw and SmackDown.
Yep.
So thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you later on, hopefully maybe next week, seeing how things
go. Thank you for letting me be able to be on my very first J&J Talk Show.
Absolutely. Trey, thank you, and you have yourself a good night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Alrighty. Listen, great time with Trey. Love having him on. Hopefully we get him on some more. Finally figured out a way to get it all working. I know this whole draft has been a mess, and it has been a mess, right? Because we weren't expecting. Well, it's not like we weren't expecting, but the approach of them taking this draft and acting like it was splitting the brand once more.
For sure.
Compared to maybe, like I said, having Raw versus SmackDown matches, where then if the Raw wins, you get 2 picks, or having 6-man where you get 3 picks. You could see Big E and Roman Reigns go at it on SmackDown or Raw, something like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Something like that would have been more ideal to see.
Or they could have that at Extreme Rules.
Or the start of I mean, it doesn't matter how you watch it. I guess it works both ways.
Sure.
But to see it that way, there. Crown Jewel, October 21st. We will recap next week, right? Obviously, the draft and how that goes. We have a couple weeks to officiate that. Don't forget the draft. Everything's concluding tomorrow night on Raw, but it won't take an effect until after Crown Jewel. Which then from Crown Jewel is Survivor Series. So now we come back in. Is there any thoughts of certain matches that you want to see at Crown Jewel happen? My biggest issue is that, I guess under contract wise, they have to fulfill some obligation over there across seas. But I like to see some of these big matches happening over there. I like to see them down here in the United States.
True.
But is there any matches that you want to see?
I'll agree with Trey. Definitely need to have all the championship defended.
Right.
Like with Damian Priest and Shinsuke Nakamura, for sure.
You definitely have to see the IC title. The Intercontinental Championship.
It's in the title.
It's in the title to go across seas and see it defended. I mean, and wouldn't it be a better way to see it defended against someone like Apollo Crews, or like I said, if you did separate Omos, that would be a good title to put on him, because everyone down there could kind of, like, you think of Happy Corbin could kind of help him out, Shinsuke could kind of work with him, but I don't know, we got a long ways to go.
Sure.
And I think this confuses the approach of where, until we know who's going to be on the brands tomorrow, this will be a confusing time.
For sure.
For WWE and the approach. I mean, it was already confusing, 2 weeks ago? But more so on that. Just a little heads up on things coming up here down the road. Let's not forget about
Escape the Undertaker.
Escape the Undertaker, October 5th on Netflix. I'm excited. I'm a big Taker fan. Die hard to see him in a movie. The last movie he was in Commando with with Hulk Hogan.
Oh. Damn.
Commander or something like that.
That was really old.
Yeah, that is pretty old. So check that out, Netflix, October 5th. Don't miss that. Let's see how it is. What, New Day? I mean, it looks like a little bit of comedy, but a little scary, as well. Kids friendly, maybe.
For sure.
Also, then, just while we're at it, listen, Big Brother's over, right? And who won again?
The BX Xavier.
Was he your favorite?
That was Kaylee's favorite.
Xavier. Who was your favorite?
I don't really have a favorite.
Was it a clean sweep over the votes?
Yes.
Was it?
Yep.
Just all the
Unanimous.
Straight across. And who was Xavier going up against?
Big D.
Big D. Was he just a
Sounds
jerk? I mean, was he a jerk in the house and winning all the?
No, he was actually a really nice dude, actually.
Because you normally those guys who lose, they've been jerks, or the guys who win. Was Xavier a jerk in the house? Was he running a lot of things?
No, he was mostly the beast of just winning.
He just won, but was he? So he was not head of the table, so to speak.
No, he wasn't condescending. He was more like this, pleasing of everybody.
Oh, okay, I see. Which is nice. I mean, it's nice to see a good-hearted person playing a normal game in Big Brother,
True.
Compared to those guys who had a con a lot of the way through,
or manipulating all that.
Right. So the conclusion of that's now, right? I know work-wise things are starting to pick up, so we will see how work goes.
Sure.
That's why, one of the reasons testing Trey out here on our show, just in case. But you also Young Sheldon, which is one of my upcoming shows that I enjoy watching, October 7th, which is Thursday on CBS. Check that out if you get a chance to. I know there's some controversy because Sheldon's father is in the hospital, just had a heart attack. And recently he just had a couple of drinks and had some, exposure with another woman, a friend of theirs. Oh. So, yeah, they pick up in a tense moment. So a couple of things going on there. Anything else you want to mention?
If you haven't got a chance to watch Venom, go watch Venom.
Go watch Venom. Yeah. Then Spider-Man? No Way Home coming out in December
17th.
October 15th, Halloween Kills, which is a good one. Freeform has Halloween, the 31 Nights of Halloween, or 31 Days of Halloween, so go check that out. I know Sci-Fi has just played all the Freddy Krueger movies, Nightmare on Elm Street. What's coming out in November?
Then what's going on in Eternals is Eternals,
which is supposed to be a good one also.
Very sure.
So a lot of things coming up. We got sports coming up here. Tuesday, I will go ahead and cover the road to October. Postseason's here, so postseason baseball for on Tuesday. Thursday, we'll get back with another NFL picks. We'll have the recap of this past week's picks here. Friday, we'll look around the sports of entertainment, what's going on this weekend. We'll have AL/NL playoff games, as well as NFL Week 5 games, hopefully another week. NCAA rankings are going all over the place.
Hopefully it will change again.
Exactly.
Excitement going.
A lot of great things going on. So we appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Please hit that like, share, subscribe button for more information. Until next time, we will see you guys later. Thank you for joining.